Minds bring together men and women on a melanated minds journey to embrace self-love and empowerment through understanding and taking care of their mind, body, and soul. Melanated Minds is an exclusive community that uplifts and supports one another. The network made for us. Join the Melanated Minds Network today.
Hello, and welcome to the Melanated Minds Network. My name is Chiquita Davis, your host for this evening, and I'm super excited to be on here this evening. To really be on here and just to share our story of the Melanated Minds Network. We were founded by Dr. Shamara Hutchison, which is a clinical psychologist in Cleveland, Ohio, and she decided to build a community just for us, just for the brown and melanated community, where we will put our mind, body, and soul first. So today you are going to hear from one of our special guests, Anissa Ansley, who is going to share with you her story and her journey on why she decided to embark on her new venture with us. But before we get to it, I am going to share our upcoming event with you all, the mental health fair that's happening Saturday, September 21st at Waller Community County Center in Prairie View, Texas. Take a look.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, DJ Chosen One, aka Mr. Lamar from Ready to Love. I got some exciting news for you. Mark your calendars because the Melanated Minds Network is bringing you the Big Game Day Mental Health Fair on September 21st, 2024 at the Waller County Community Center in Prairie View, Texas. This is an event you don't want to miss. This event is about promoting mental health and community wellness. It's happening from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with doors opening at 9:30 a.m. We'll have incredible speakers, interactive booths, and resources to help you take care of all your mental health. And that's not all. I'll be there spinning the hottest tracks to keep you hyped along with our amazing host, Dr. Felicia Elpo, and our special guest, Ron Chilson. We're bringing the energy, the knowledge, and the vibes all day long. Plus, we can't forget the highlight of the day. The Southern Jaguars will take on Prairie View Panthers at 6 p.m. Who's ready for some football? Man, it's going to go down. A game to remember. We are calling all Black-owned businesses. This is your chance to shine. We want you to be a part of this amazing opportunity to showcase your brand and connect with the community. Apply now by visiting 4melanatedminds.net. Don't miss out.
Awesome. You all don't miss this super amazing event that's taking place on Saturday, September 21st. If you want more information, visit us online at melanatedminds.net. So before I get started, I am going to share a little bit about our special guest. Her name is Anissa Ansley. She founded the Soul Sister Society and launched it this last July 15th, 2024. Her journey, marked by resilience, led her to a significant milestone. After her 30-year marriage ended due to her husband's infidelity, and as a caregiver for her parents, she was deeply impacted by their passing, which took a toll on her mental and physical health. To find solace and rest, she planned a 2-year sabbatical to Costa Rica, but was then diagnosed with breast cancer. Anissa is a podcaster, speaker, and survivor. These experiences highlighted the need for a supportive community for women of color. Many of us navigate adversity while bearing societal pressures and unresolved emotional burdens, hindering our ability to thrive. This is how Soul Sisters Society was founded. And today I have the honor and privilege to welcome you all, Anissa Ansley. Welcome, Anissa. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. You know, when I asked you to be on the Melanated Minds Network, because you are a part of our community.
Yes.
2, you represent what it is that we are doing, which is putting our mind, body, and soul first. So please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. And then we also want to hear on how did you decide to get started with Soul Sister Society?
Yeah, so I am just a regular lady here that love people, enjoy life. I was married for 30 years. I am a mother of 3 uh, young adult children, and I do have 2 granddaughters. and one on the way. So, over the last 4 years, it's been 4 years. In a span of 4 years, I experienced my own adversity. Um, I founded Soul Sister Society because I saw a need for a community that would support women of color, the age of 40 and over. We have a strategic ability to be able to navigate through adversity without being completely healed or without actually going through the process of processing our adversity. And that's what I found myself doing. I lost my mother in 2019. I left a marriage after 30 years of marriage. After my husband, discovered his second affair. And I, after that, I tried to build a business, and just things just started happening in my life. It just kind of went down a rabbit hole. My dad got sick. I became his full caregiver, and it just really stressed me out. I couldn't even hold a job. I went back to work temporarily and ended up getting fired. That's something that never happens to me. I was always a high achiever and a high functioning depressed woman. And I found what helped me get through all of this was the community that I surrounded myself with, my sisters, my girlfriends, and people who pulled me out of the house and just said, "Hey, come on, let's get out of the house." And all of those things helped, even though I did not want to do that. But sometimes it was best. And I ended up just kind of navigating through that and just really went on. It all just kind of hit rock bottom when I decided that I was going to go to Costa Rica for a year or two sabbatical and just find solace and peace. And that never happened because I went in for a routine mammogram, and they discovered that I had breast cancer. So that never happened. And this past February, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so now I'm going through chemo. And that's when I said, you know what, let me build this community and let me, because the more I started talking to other women, I found that my story was not unique. It was, this happens quite a bit. And I think that it's just something that we need. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. There's a couple of things that I heard while you were speaking. I am reading this book called "I Am Healed Enough to Lead,"
Mm,
and
mm.
right. So we think we have to have it all figured out. You have to be all put together for us to lead. No,
No, we
we are
don't.
healed enough to lead.
Absolutely. And that was one of my mottos within building the community, is that I really wanted to build a community where we could journey through this together. Journey to redemption is what I decided that I would make as one of my slogans, because it really is true. Healing is a process. We like to put um, the typical 1 year or 2 years, or, oh, it's been 4 years now. No, it's a whole process that you have to go through. And whether it takes me 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, there's still healing to be done. And I don't think we ever get to that point where we're totally 110. I think that we should just take our time, we should address it, and we should just build and build that sisterhood and that community that we need to help us process whatever level we're at. And so that's really good that you brought that up. Good book. I would love to read that myself.
Yes, so I would definitely share with you. It's actually an ebook by Natalie
Wonderful.
Miller. I would definitely share with you. And another thing is, when we're healing, we shouldn't rush to heal. We shouldn't put a
Absolutely.
time limit on it, or let me hurry up and heal so I can be there for this individual. And I'm speaking to, to myself first, because it's something that I'm going through. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, no, however long it takes for you to heal, that's how long it takes,
That's
and enjoy the process. For so many
absolutely.
times we suppress our feelings to the benefit of others, to where
Mm,
we are dealing with things internally. And what do? Keep suppressing
so
until it
good.
start oozing out.
Yeah, so good. So good that you mentioned that, because that was another thing that led me to build the community as well, is because I started noticing, and no, not to my girlfriends or to people that I was around, but I could tell that they were like, "Oh girl," they had that little attitude like, "Oh girl, you still dealing with that?" And probably, in their mind they were kind of like, like, "Girl, get over it," and that's how I felt when I would say something. And that also let me know, like, okay, you can't dump this, trauma dump is what we call it.
Mhm.
You can't trauma dump this on everybody. Maybe they are dealing with something that they're not really ready to deal with. So I said, let me, why not build a community where like-minded others, or you know other women can come in, and we could all just journey together in this thing. It doesn't have to be a set time, it doesn't have to be a set uh limit. You could, you could be at different levels or anything. And so that's really good. I'm glad that we're now getting to that point where we're exploring those opportunities to just take our time in the process, don't rush it, and don't let others rush you.
Absolutely. You know what? That's one thing that I can really congratulate Dr. Shamar Hutchins on, because she created this platform for us to be able to have these moments, because
Beautiful.
everything is what stays in this house, what happens in this house stays in this house. Don't tell anyone. It's
Absolutely.
hard for us to speak up about our feelings, and we either would react out of anger. And, as I got older, I've started to dislike this term, the mad black angry woman. It's like,
Oh,
no, she is not mad. Well, she is mad, she is angry, but she
yeah,
got to figure out how to deal with these things.
absolutely. Yeah. And our trauma is, it looks different from, the other person possibly. And that's another thing. And that's why I wanted to focus on brown women of color, is because not all the time each trauma is different. Just looks different from it may be cultural, it just, not everyone understands our culture.
Right.
So yeah.
Yes. So I want to go ahead and ask you a few questions. So you did share, and if you all didn't hear the title, it's Resilience and Redemption: The Journey of Anissa Ansley and Soul Sister Society. So I want you to share with our viewers, how did your personal challenges shape your vision for Soul Sisters? I know you shared a little bit with us as you were speaking, but as you were going through life, what was your aha moment in developing Soul Sister Society?
Yeah. I always felt that God wanted to use me in a in a way that I just didn't really know what that looked like. um I know that there are things that I am to do, um and timing is everything.
Absolutely.
um I had gone through divorce, I had been a caregiver, I, lost a job, experienced all those adversities in my life, understood what it meant to lose and win. And I was just at a point once I got to the breast cancer diagnosis, and I realized that this is really happening. I am diagnosed with breast cancer, and I cannot leave the country to find solace and peace. And that was my aha moment. I said, I have to do something. And I felt like God was just giving me how to do it. I just started praying and I said, I don't understand this. I don't even know how to do this. I just need your guidance. Scripture and prayer was very important in my life as I was building this. But it was just that one, it wasn't just that one thing. It's so easy for me to focus on the divorce because that was a big thing. But it was really just the grief of the divorce, the grief of what was no more, the grief of my parents, losing my parents, and then the grief of understanding that I am not a well person mentally and physically. So that really, really was my aha moment when I got diagnosed with breast cancer. I was like, okay, I got to do this and I got to do it. And it just started coming once made up in my mind that I was going to build this community. Things just started coming into play, and just things just started working out, and I'm appreciative of that. So it was just that, not that one uh story that I was dealing with, like divorce, but it was a combination of things. But it was that one aha moment when I got diagnosed with breast cancer. I was like, this is it. I can't sit any longer.
Yes, and today my pastor preached about, he said, you know, God would give us instructions to do something, but he
Yes.
would not show us how to do it. We
Yes.
just have to take one step, and
Yes.
then he will guide us the rest of the way. And
Yes.
as you were talking as well, here's another quote that I love: a broken crayon still colors.
Ooh. Ooh,
And
that's so
it's
good.
so powerful because many of us are broken,
Yes.
and many of us feel like we are not adequate to serve other people, yet alone serve ourselves or
Oh,
allow others to serve us. But
yeah.
know that a broken crayon still colors. What's
Yes.
your take on that?
I love that. It brings me to the point of a biblical story. We know how Moses was to lead the Israelites out of captivity into the promised land. And he tried every excuse in the book to not be able to say that he was not equipped to do the job. But he was chosen. He was chosen from the womb. and and that just makes me think about how he used his speech to say, I'm not a speaker, and God said, oh, your brother Aaron, he's gonna speak for you, and
Come
he
on now.
did. So that's powerful to me. We I think God just wants our yes and our amen.
Amen.
We don't have to. I remember when I was getting ready to divorce, and literally God said, you have to divorce. This is it. He's not coming back from this. And I wailed and I wailed and I cried. It was so easy for me to want to stay in my comfort zone and just be in the because I wasn't being abused. I wasn't, I mean, physically, or I was comfortable. I had a home, I had a car, I had the necessities. I could travel and do things that I wanted to do. And I just did not feel like starting over. And it was just so easy. Sometimes it's like
Mhm.
that. And I just think about when he said for me, you have to divorce, my whole heart did not agree, but my yes was like, yes, God, I'll do it. I'm going to have to do this. And so I made a decision to, I'm just saying, our everything doesn't have to align all the time. He just wants a yes. And
Correct.
these are the people that he wants to use, the ones who think that they're not adequate, or, like, what can I offer?
Absolutely. And you know what? And it's like, our will may not align with his will, but we know that his will is the ultimate will. So
It's
either
the
you're going to bend now or you're going to bend later. So
later.
we choose when we're going to bend. And that's what I love about God, because he has a way of nudging us and
Yes.
saying, hey, it's time.
Yes.
Hey, it's time.
Yes.
And
He'll put you
it's
in those
time.
positions. Yeah.
And then you'll start hearing it from people that you encounter who doesn't know what's going on in your
Right.
life, and they'll say something like that. Okay, God, I knew that was you because I don't even know this person. How do they know to speak this to me? So
Yeah.
he has his ways, and community is a beautiful thing when it's with the right individuals.
Absolutely. Great
Yes.
point. When it's with
So
the right.
how do you rest, self-love, and heart-centered care define your community?
Oh gosh. That's those three things are really it's three words: rest, self-love, and heart-centered care, but it's loaded. Um it is something that we have to define for ourselves.
Mhm.
Rest looks different for everyone, but I want to submit that when you are really focusing on and you're at that point in your life where you're ready to do something about the life that you live, I still struggle with it, honestly, because it's all a process. It's something that when you're so accustomed to doing and going about and being a part of everything, and you're that server and all of that, it's really, really something that you have to learn to do, and you have to keep relearning it. I just had a situation the other day where I needed to be something happened, and I had to postpone something to be there for a friend, which was necessary, but then that backed up everything else. And I
Mhm.
had to decide what was most important for me. And so, yeah, so I say rest, rest, lifestyle changes, heart-centered care, self-love, all of that is defined by the person, I think. It looks different for everyone. And so I had to show myself some self-love and say, well, there's one of these things that I cannot do. And it's okay for me to tell that person without being guilty or feeling guilty about it, unapologetically saying, I can't be there for this, but I can do this. Or, and so yeah, it's it's something that I have to it's so loaded, but we're learning. We're learning all together what that looks like for each person.
Absolutely. I can definitely share that moment with you as well, because me always being the go-to person, serving, saying yes, 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 yes.
Mhm.
And one of my previous pastors, he shared this with me. He said, Chiquita, you saying yes to a lot of things, but guess who you're saying no to?
Yourself.
Oh, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me like a ton of bricks. He was like, you saying yes to be here. You saying yes to do that. You saying yes, yes, yes. And you denying yourself of all the things that you need. And it took a minute. When I say
Mhm.
a minute, it took like a
Mhm.
year and a half
Mhm.
from once he told me that to realize, okay, no, you can't be everywhere. No, you
Mhm.
can't do everything.
Mhm.
No, you may want to, but you can't. And
Mhm.
the minute you try to insert yourself where you know you don't belong at this
Uh-huh.
time, like you
Mm.
said, will back up everything else. And that just kept happening to me
Yep.
time and time. And I was like, what is going on? And I
Yep.
started to say, you know what? Thank you, but no thank you.
Mhm.
I can't at this time.
Mhm.
And it's something that I still have to learn every day, because
Absolutely.
every day I want to go, oh, yes, I can. I'm like, Shakira, no, you
Yep.
can't. Yes, I
Absolutely.
can. I'm like, no, you really can't. You're not
No.
well
Yeah.
enough to.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that I just experienced just yesterday. I got in trouble. Honestly, and I'll just be authentic here. I ended up in the ER just 2 days ago
My God.
on Friday. I just had a chemo session, and I went to an event that was rescheduled because of Beryl, and because I decided that I did not want to lose my $175 ticket that I paid for, that I was going to go to the event, even though I was masked. Um, Me being, the person that I am, I'm over there hugging and hey, I had a mask on, but it was just too much. I shouldn't have been there, and I just should have said, you know what, let it go. And
Mhm.
I started running fever, risking infection, and um, I ended up in the ER. So that meant that I could not be there for the friend that I was supposed to be there for
Wow.
because I did not, so it's something that I'm still learning. I've done great a lot of times and I haven't done, so good other times, but it's just something that we have to learn, and especially if you have that natural gift to be there for people and that's your gift to serve. I know that I do serve others really well, and
Mhm.
you know, it it's my gift. But the best investment is with, yourself, and
Yeah,
without feeling guilty about it, without feeling, like you are being selfish. Um, it's just something that we have to learn. It's a process.
absolutely. And you know what? I never understood why they will always say when you board a plane and the flight attendants tell you put on your oxygen mask first,
Uh-huh.
put
Whoa,
yours on first, then you can help others.
others.
Because you are no good if you're not well, if you're not well mentally, physically,
That's right.
financially, spiritually, all of it. You have to take it may sound selfish, but you have to be selfish with yourself, because if you're not, who's going to?
Absolutely.
Who's going to?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I am enjoying this session.
Yes.
Speaking of that, I want to take a quick pause. I'm going to show you all this promo video of Dr. Shamara Hutchins. She has a new book coming out called The Herology of a Woman. You can pre-order online, and I will make sure that that link is provided during this broadcast. So take a look.
Technology is about embracing every facet of our identity. It's about recognizing our strengths, understanding our challenges, and transforming our experiences into wisdom and power. It's a celebration of our ability to adapt, to rise, and to thrive in the face of adversity.
Yes, so you can pre-order your copy today, The Herology, and that is by our own Dr. Shamar Hutchins. You can visit themindologistdoc.com to reserve your copy today. Yes, so great. We're going to continue with our segment here. And Anissa, I want you to share with us, and let me go into this here. There we go. What obstacles did you face starting Soul Sisters, and how did you overcome them?
Um, I will tell you that I will tell you that once I said, honestly, once I said yes, things just started in the play, just working out for me. I mean, just started being a smooth. But I will say that if I have to say there was any obstacles, it would probably be me going through my healing process while building the community. I started building the community at the diagnosis state of my breast cancer. I had surgery in May, and so that was a recovery time. And then I started chemo shortly after. And you know what comes with the chemo? There's fatigue, I mean, you're down and out, and then there's other things. So if I say any obstacle, it was just me trying to get past the healing part, and my accountability partner just kind of saying, hey, do you have this, do you have that, and me writing my story, and falling asleep and trying to get rest and trying to stay uh, true to myself, my healing process while building a community. So I had to put those actions of self love in place at the same time, because I actually had launch date of June 1st, and it ended up being July 15th because I just could not do it. I'd set those standards at one point, and then I had to say to myself, like, oh, it's really okay if it doesn't get launched when I originally wanted to get launched. God is in all the plans. So,
Absolutely.
and so, a high achiever sort of kind of put that pressure on themselves. And, we feel a certain kind of way when we don't meet those deadlines and
Absolutely.
quality is not at the standard that we think it should be.
You know what? And same here. We'll put something out and it has to be this day because we put it out. But you know what? It's okay to postpone
Absolutely.
or relaunch, or
Mhm.
maybe if we're gonna keep the date, maybe do something on a smaller scale. And there's ways around it as we grow and learn how to maneuver through life because things do happen. And I want to first off, as you were speaking, and I'm seeing you smiling, I want to give you your flowers because I remember when I first met you, which was at a book signing party,
Yes.
and we meshed right away.
Right away.
Right away. And that happens like God, it's so unique how God would bring people and we make connections. And maybe a year later or a year and a half later, you helped me with my event, Mimosa and
Yes.
Brunch event.
Yes.
And then at that time, I know you were going through a situation with your dad, and
Yes.
then to see you now, it like my heart is so full because one, I see you
Absolutely.
smiling. I know some of the before, but then
Yes.
to see your after and the fact that you are still going with your head
Mhm.
held high just lets me know that come hell or high water,
Absolutely.
God is still with you. He is
Yes.
still giving you all the promises that he said that he's
Absolutely.
going to do. And that's why this segment is called Resilience and
Yes.
Redemption, the journey
Yes.
of Anissa Ansley. Like this
Yes.
fits you perfect because you have been through things that most people honestly would not come out of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just, within itself, a lot of people can handle tough battles.
Yes.
And I just applaud individuals who have been through hell and back, but still going. But then yet you're reaching your hand back out to help someone else, to
Absolutely.
bring them to their best self.
Yeah.
And with that, how can women in tough transitions benefit from joining Soul Sister Society?
Oh, we have so much, we're really having those authentic conversations within the circle community. Um, we have a monthly sister circle chat with myself where I and the sisterhood discuss heart and soul topics. Those topics are not just regular surface topics. They are topics that are dealing with some questions that we have specifically um, for our community, for things that women of color go through and experience. We have a monthly keynote speaker discussing mental health and rest and nutrition and lifestyle changes and more. You know, we have speakers that just come through and they do an hour-long segment, and then we have a Q&A session. We have a weekly Bible study led by a Bible believing woman of God who teaches on spiritual growth. But spiritual growth is very important for us navigating adversity. And as a member, you have access to the Sister Circle Community app, where you will find resources, a catalog, a library with books that I've read myself, and that maybe someone wants to suggest. We have interactive posts and IG, Facebook challenges, and things like that, courses, and a newfound sisterhood. You know
Yes, I love it. You know what I heard also?
what?
Find your tribe so you can thrive.
Hey, I love that. Yay.
Yes, it
Find
is
your
true.
tribe so you
Yes,
can
find
thrive.
your tribe so you can thrive. And when you find that group of women who are rooting for you, who,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you are not alone. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I've been through that as well. Let me share how I overcame. And that's all that's all we're put here to do, is to share our stories of how we overcame.
That's right.
How are we still making it day by day?
That's right.
What steps have worked for you? Not necessarily your steps may, my your steps may not work for me, but it still would give me a guide. It would give me a
Absolutely.
guide to see what steps that needs to work for me. So again, what advice do you have for women struggling to prioritize their well-being?
I always say you can only handle what's in front of you. I had that problem of trying to, as women, we're mothers, we have our own careers, we're caregivers, we're wives, we're a lot of things to a lot of people. And we try and solve all of it. That strong black woman syndrome, that superwoman cape. I want to take all of those things and just tear it down and say, look, you can only handle what's in front of you. Do a survey of what's around you. And it may mean that the dishes don't get washed. It may mean that those clothes don't get folded. It may mean that the car doesn't get washed. It may mean that you may have to tell your kid no.
Mhm.
But when you realize, there's a saying that the body keeps score. It does.
That is true.
And I'm a witness of that. My diagnosis of cancer was not because it was genetic. It was mainly because of uh, high cortisone levels of, stress. And when stress and inflammation uh, enters the body, that's where disease is set up. So want to submit to these women who are struggling, and talking to myself as well still. You can only handle what's in front of you. And that means saying no without feeling guilty, and handling what's in front of you. So do a survey. Do a survey of what's on your plate. And if I have these big um easel sticky notes, the big
Mhm.
easel ones that you use in your big meetings. And I'll write everything on there because I'm a visual person. I have to write everything on there, and I stick it up there on my wall, and I cross out. And if that means that I don't get, if it may be 10 things on there, I may just do one. That's a success for that day.
Absolutely, absolutely. You brought me back to a segment that I was doing in another community that I'm a part of, and it was like, you have to count each win as a win, and what that means is if you just get up and make it out of bed, that is a win.
That's right.
Because we know some people, when they face depression, anxiety, they stay in bed, they stay closed up, they keep the blinds down.
Hmm.
If you eat a good meal that day and you haven't eaten in 2 to 3 days, that's a win. You
Absolutely.
gotta learn what is a win for you, and just take practice in
Absolutely.
those small wins.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So what are the future goals for Soul Sister Society?
Oh, I love that. I have so many plans for Soul Sister Society. One of the biggest things that I think that I'm super excited about is that we're planning a retreat sometime in 2025. And I'm really putting a little heart and soul into this retreat. I'm really trying to make sure that I partner with the right person that can help me out with um, really designing this retreat uh, to accommodate what we are really looking to experience. And so that's one of the biggest things that's on my plate for next year in 2025. And I'm super excited about it. something in October. We're planning to do something every week in October as a breast cancer survivor. And we will be planning. I'll have some information coming out about that soon on my Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, so those are the things that I'm super excited about. And hopefully we can get some meet and greets soon. Right now, the community is virtual, but we're definitely looking to do something locally, and hopefully we can just expand this thing and connect with other communities as well. It's not just about Soul Sister Society; it's about a community, and that's what our goals are, and we want to join in as much as we can with other sisters. And really, it's about sisterhood and building each other up.
Absolutely, absolutely. I definitely love Soul Sister Society. I love what it's about. I love your mission and your vision for the women, and I know your heart is to serve. That is, one of the main reasons why this community was birthed by you, because you are able to showcase your God-given talents to this community for women to thrive. And before we close out, of course, I want to say again, thank you for your time. I was personally touched by your story. I know our viewers will take something away from it. But what is one piece of advice that you would have to give to the woman who is going through life right now? And I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm not going to put any labels on what her life status is, but to that woman who is going through life, what would be a piece of advice that you would share with her?
First, I want to say thank you for bringing me on this platform. I really appreciate it. In all seriousness, first, I'd like to say to you, that woman out there, I love you, and I know what you're going through. I have experienced some heart-wrenching moments, and the only thing that I can do is say a prayer for you. But I can also advise you to never give up. Stop, take a look at what is going on in your life, and grasp hold to God. Use scripture and affirmations as your defense, and just take care of yourself, my sister. And we love you.
Amen. Amen. And how can viewers reach you, Anissa?
I am on Instagram and Facebook at The Soul Sisters Society. And you can also find me, my website at thesoulsisterssociety.com.
Awesome, awesome. You all, Anissa, thank you very much again.
You.
Time well spent.
Thank
You
you.
all, this concludes our segment for today, which was Resilience and Redemption, the journey of Anissa Ansley and Soul Sister Society. I hope you all were moved by her story. I know I was, and it just gave me more power to know that, you know what, whatever comes up your way, Chiquita, you can handle it.
Yes,
And I
you
just
did.
appreciate you for sharing your story with us on today. You all stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and end our segment, but make sure you come back next week for our next episode. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Melanated Minds bring together men and women on a melanated minds journey to embrace self-love and empowerment through understanding and taking care of their mind, body, and soul. Melanated Minds is an exclusive community that uplifts and supports one another. The network made for us. Join the Melanated Minds Network today.